What's up, everyone? Recently, the New York City Police Department released this photo of a man wanted for pushing someone onto the subway tracks at the Suffolk Boulevard stop in Jamaica, Queens. As many of you know, I worked in the Jamaica, Queens area extensively throughout my career with the NYPD. And when I saw this guy's face, I immediately identified a striking resemblance to a drunk guy I had a fight with one train stop away at Jamaica Center. I'm not sure if it's him, but given the location of the incident, this may very well be the drunk guy who I fought with that was high on PCP. So let's get to the story.
But we found there's a strong connection.
I would rather deal with organized crime than disorganized crime. Because in disorganized crime, everybody's out there doing whatever they wanted to do. In organized crime, only certain people can do it.
What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Corruption Connection. I'm your host, Tony Hernandez. There is a lot of mentally ill people roaming the streets of New York City. That being said, a lot of them are substance abusers, which kind of enables their activity. So if you've ever heard of PCP, it makes people have superhuman strength. I mean, they just turn into super beings. They don't feel anything. They're immune to pain. They're kind of just zombie-like. So what do you do when you encounter someone on PCP? So I'll tell you, I fought two guys, actually fought with them, and they were both on some kind of substance. The first guy I'll tell you about was confirmed on PCP because we found out later in the hospital. So it was a routine patrol. I was actually in uniform at this time. And we're in a van. It's a sergeant and two cops, me, my partner, and we were with a sergeant. We were patrolling the area that day. And we were above ground when we had seen a bus kind of stopping in the middle of the street. And we were like, what's going on? Why is this bus stopped? It was in Jamaica in the Parsons Archer section. So if you've ever been to Parsons Archer, you know that's a big bus depot. All the buses stop there, they reload. It's a bus station, right? It's one of the biggest, I think, if not the biggest in the city. It's probably the biggest in Queens. So we see this bus kind of nonchalantly parked in the middle of the street, and we're wondering what's going on. And you could see the bus driver like looking around trying to get our attention. And we're like, all right, what's going on? He's like, I got an unruly guy, doesn't want to get off the bus. It's the last stop. I told him to get off the bus. He told me to go fuck myself. I was like, all right. So we get in there. We go on the bus. And this guy he's laid out. He's covering, if you've ever sat on a bus seat, there's probably like 3 seats, you know, those little 3-seaters. He's sitting in the middle seat, but his ass is so big. He's just a massive man that it's like taking up a seat and a half. And he's kind of just spread out like this, you know, like, oh, shit. All right. You know, he's a big boy here. You know, he's got to be 350, 6'2", 6'3", just a big, solid man, you know, not fat, but like frolic, we called him, like fat and brolic. He was like a mix of both. So to wake people up, what we would do essentially is verbal commands. Hey, sir, how you doing? Yelling at him, hey, please wake up, you know, blah, blah, blah. It's not having any effect on him, you know. He's in like a slumber. So I take my asp out, you know, the expandable baton, and I start knocking it on the pole. So it's making a really loud sound. Ding, 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 ding. It's kind of annoying him. He's like, like this. Still in a big bear slumber, all right? Like, all right, now we got to touch him. We got to put hands on or whatever, put the gloves on or whatever. Like, all right. Excuse me, sir. Start popping him, like start pushing him. And the guy pops up, like out of his sleep, like, why the fuck you touching me? Get the fuck off me. Starts cursing at us, going crazy, right? Like, calm down, you know, this is your final stop. You got to get the bus. I ain't going anywhere. He goes nuts now. So we give him a little bit of room. We're like, all right, listen, you got to get off the bus. Like, I'm not going to, you can see his eyes. They're all glassy. He's on something. He smells like alcohol, but a lot of these times these guys mix alcohol with other substances. So you have no idea what he's on. So he continues to rant and rave and go on. And at this point he gets in my face. Like he gets close, but like I gave him a chance, I guess, you know, I shouldn't have, but I gave him a chance to get close. I was kind of just still, I guess, surveying the situation, seeing what I could do to actually get this guy to comply without using physical force, but it was too far at this point. So he gets in my face, and before I could even react, you know, I step back and I kind of, I guess like a double punch, like boom, but I don't get my hands open quick enough to push him. So I kind of just give him like a double punch to back him up. He was a fucking big guy, like I said. I'm 5'10", 200 pounds. I mean, this guy outweighed me by 150 pounds. He had a couple inches on me. He was a big dude. So now, in that sense, it was three of us. I figured, all right, we could take this guy. So as he comes to me, I said, get the fuck out of my face. You know, I give him like the little double punch. It doesn't really move him. Like, it moves him back, but it doesn't do anything to him. So I'm like, oh, shit. Like, you know. So we have to fight this guy now. I go to grab his arm. I think my sergeant grabbed him first because he saw when I pushed him, now it was hands on. My sergeant grabbed one of his arms. My partner grabs the other. And I'm just like, I kind of just jump on top of him. You know, we try to get him down onto the seat. He's not going down. My sergeant's bigger than me. He's a big guy. He's probably about the same size as that guy. My partner's about my size. And we just can't get this guy down. Struggling with him, trying. He's fighting, but not like throwing punches. He's too fucked up. He's too like drunk and out of his mind to like actually coordinate an actual punch. But he's swinging, you know, he's swinging his body. And just to wrestle or grapple with a man of that size, I mean, the magnitude was crazy, you know. So we're struggling with him, and so we got to use weapons here. So we take out the asp, start bang hitting him with it, like really like going at him with this thing. Didn't have no effect on him. It was almost like if a fly was doing this to his shirt. It was like, I was like, what the hell are we going to do to this guy? Finally, after, I want to say, you're in a fight, 30 seconds is like an eternity, but we were struggling with him, but I want to say for about a good minute or two. And finally, we get him down on his face. We were able to, the asp wasn't working. I lost the asp, finally just got him down on his face, and he was so big and so fat that you couldn't really get his wrists were really thick. You couldn't get his arms around his back. But we had to connect like two cuffs together. And when we got the two cuffs together, we were able to actually get him in cuffs. And, we get him up. He's still ranting and raving, fuck you, cursing us out, going crazy. In that case, it's an emotionally disturbed person, an EDP. If you can't get them under control as a cop, you call ESU, Emergency Service Unit. They come with something called the burrito. It's like a big orange net. They just throw this guy, wrap him in a burrito, and take him to the hospital. We were able to cuff him up to the point where we had him in under control. But the problem was, what do you do with this guy now? I mean, the ambulance, you have to escort this guy to the hospital. He's violent. He's kicking, spitting. He's trying to break out of the cuffs. And he looks so big and intimidating that he looks like he could break these cuffs. He's a big boy. Anyway, we get him down to the hospital, and we get him on the bed. And we have to take the cuffs off. And I was like, hey, I'm going to take these cuffs off. Don't try swinging at me, because that's what they do. As soon as they get one arm loose, they'll just come around and clock you. Oh, yeah, he's calm now. He's got him in the hospital. Don't start swinging at me. Don't do any of this kind of shit. And he's like, no, I'm not going to do anything. All right, no problem. As soon as we get the one cuff off, he goes to try to grab our arm. Literally like a millisecond. Goes to try to grab me and my partner's arm. Now we're wrestling with him in the hospital. I mean, people are like, all the nurses, and everybody's yelling and screaming. We're in the fucking emergency room fighting with this guy. Hospital security, they ain't doing shit. So we're really trying to get him, and we're like, what the fuck? Like, this guy literally he won't comply or whatever, right? So finally, or whatever, we're able to. He's kind of close to a bed. So what we did was we put we just smashed the other cuff on the bed. So technically now he's tied to the bed on one arm. So as long as he's not moving one arm, we got one arm, he's got the other arm tied. We got a little bit of an advantage here. We were able to wrestle him down to the bed and now get both his arms cuffed. So now he's like this, like you see in the Mental Wars, like this, like trying to get out. And I mean, he was strong, man. At one point, I thought he was going to break it. But then we figured out, like, they had to take his blood and all that stuff. He was on PCP. I talked to him a little bit when he would go through, like, these manic states where he'd be like, I'm going to fucking kill you, and try to break out. And then, like, he'd calm down and be like, I just, I've been drinking for a long time. And, he would kind of just be like a normal guy. And then 2 seconds later, he'd be like, and when I get out of this fucking place, I'm going to have a drink and I'm going to kill you. He was just nuts, out of his fucking mind, this guy. So whatever. So we was waiting with the doctors, and, finally we were just like, all right, hospital security. And all the nurses are like, please don't leave him with us. Like, what are we going to do? Because what they have to do is they have to process him, give him something to calm him down, whatever the case may be. And then, he has to go through the system. I mean, if there's no cops there, who has to do this? Hospital security? No, they have to. So they were just like, please don't go. But that's just the effects of PCP and whatever else he was on. It was PCP. he was gonna go through alcohol withdrawals, so he was getting violent because he wanted to drink. I mean, he was really bad alcoholic. He wasn't that old either. He was probably like late 20s, early 30s. But I mean, 15 plus years of hard drinking. I think he started drinking when he was 12 or some shit, he said. And he just can't function with alcohol. So it turned him into a monster. So when you deal with guys like that, you know, certain things don't work. The baton doesn't work. You know, pepper spray, I mean, in a confined area like that in the bus, wrestling with him, we would have did more damage to ourselves than him, you know, choking. You know, it's really not all the mucous membranes, they get all swollen. So your eyes get like this, your nose gets swollen, you can't breathe, you can't see. It doesn't make for a conducive environment to fight in. So, you know, you really have no other options. Now, the taser, people say, oh, why you didn't tase him? I've seen those tasers literally not work. Like, I don't know if it's a 50-50 shot. I really have no idea. And you actually have to hit them. If they have like jacket or some kind of heavy clothing on and it doesn't actually clip them, those things won't work. You know, the leads will just come right out. So I'll tell you another example where, you know, we had to fight with a guy and the taser didn't work.
Stay tuned for that story in the next episode. As always, I'm your host, Tony Hernandez, and this is Corruption Connection.